Hello students, welcome to the course Atoms and Molecules for MSc Physics Semester 2 as per the revised syllabus of Savitribai Phule Pune University. So we are studying our first module Atoms. So in this lecture we will study the Zeeman effect. So Zeeman effect is the splitting of a spectral line into two or more components of slightly different frequency when the light source is placed in a magnetic field. It was first observed in 1896 by the Dutch physicist Peter Zeeman as a broadening of the LOD lines of sodium in a flame held between strong magnetic poles. It is analogous to the Stark effect, that means the splitting of a spectral line into several components in the presence of an electric field. So it was discovered in 1896 by Dutch physicist Peter Zeeman. He shared the 1902 Nobel Prize in Physics with Hendrik Lorentz for his discovery of the Zeeman effect. So there are two types of Zeeman effect, that is normal and anomalous Zeeman effect. In the normal Zeeman effect, in the absence of external magnetic field, only one spectral line can be seen, but when external weak magnetic field is applied, we can see three different spectral lines. So this normal Zeeman effect occurs for transitions between any singlet states in atom with even number of optically active electrons. So in the case of sodium atom, we have a doublet spectral line corresponding to two transitions, that means doublet p half to doublet s half, that will give rise to one line, and doublet p 3/2 to doublet s half, that give rise to another line, right? So when a weak magnetic field is applied, each spectral line in the doublet structure splits into different spectral lines, right? So the first line that will split into four different spectral lines, and the second line that correspond to doublet p 3/2 to doublet s half, that splits into six different spectral lines, and therefore in overall we can get 10 different spectral lines in place of the doublet spectral lines in the sodium atom. So the angular momentum in the atom can be considered as arising from a physical movement of electrons about the nucleus, and since electrons are charged, each motion constitutes a circulating electric current and hence a magnetic field. If the external magnetic field is applied, the atomic magnetic field interacts with the external field. We can represent the angular momentum field by a vector mu, the magnetic dipole moment of the atom, and it is readily shown that mu is directly proportional to the angular momentum j and has same direction. If the electron is considered as a point of mass m and charge e, then we have mu is equal to minus e upon twice m into j vector in units joule per Tesla. However, the quantum mechanics indicates that the electron is not a point charge, and a more exact expression can be written as mu vector is equal to minus g e upon twice m into j vector, which is equal to minus g e upon twice m into j plus 1 h upon 2 pi, right? That means the angular momentum is quantized, and this g is a purely numerical factor, and it is called as Landé G factor or scopic splitting factor, and this factor depends on the state of the electron in the atom and is given by G is equal to 3/2 plus S into S plus 1 minus L into L plus 1 upon twice J into J plus 1. In general, G lies between 0 and 2. The quantity EH upon 4 pi m or EH cross upon twice m is called as Bohr magneton, and it is denoted by mu b. Its value is equal to 9.27 into 10 raised to minus 24. Let us now study the normal Zeeman effect. The normal Zeeman effect occurs between singlet states only. For example, helium atom. So for singlet states, we have twice s plus 1, that means the multiplicity is equal to 1, and hence s is equal to 0. That means total spin of the atom is equal to 0, and therefore J is equal to L plus S, which is equal to L plus 0, which is equal to L, right? And hence G is equal to 1. Right, to put the values of J, L and S in the equation of G, we get G is equal to 1, and thus the splitting between all singlet levels is identical for a given applied field, and the corresponding spectrum is very simple. For singlet states, J vector is equal to L vector, and thus the magnetic moment mu is given by mu vector is equal to minus E upon twice m into L vector, which is equal to minus E upon twice m into square root of L into L plus 1 H upon 2 pi in the units of Joule per Tesla. Components of mu along the reference direction is given by mu z vector, which is equal to minus E upon twice m Lz vector, where Lz vector is the component of the orbital angular momentum in the reference direction. So we have chosen an arbitrary direction as the reference direction, right? And therefore the component of the orbital angular momentum in the reference direction is called as Lz vector or z component of the angular momentum, right? And therefore corresponding to the magnetic moment, it also has the component in the reference direction, and that component is mu z vector, right? So when the external magnetic field is applied in the reference direction, that means z direction, this z component of the magnetic moment will interact with the field, and the interaction energy is given by delta E is equal to mu z vector dot bz vector, which is equal to mu z into bz, since theta is equal to 0 and therefore cos 0 is 1, right? So delta E is equal to minus He upon 4 pi m bz into Lz. The application of external field splits the degenerate energy levels into twice L plus 1 different energy values, since Lz or ml has twice L plus 1 values. So this Lz or ml is the quantum number of the z component of the angular momentum, right? And it has twice L plus 1 different values, and therefore our energy levels, they are also split into twice L plus 1 different energy levels. And this splitting of or lifting of degeneracy on the application of an external magnetic field is called as Zeeman effect. And since S is equal to 0, this effect is called as normal Zeeman effect. Here we can see the spectral line corresponding to L is equal to 1, that means a P level that splits into 3 different energy levels corresponding to 3 different Lz or ml values, right? And since the interaction energy is delta E and G is equal to 1, that means the splitting factor is equal to 1. This splitting is same for all G levels. So in the case of helium atom spectrum, we have seen the singlet to singlet transitions, and also we have seen the triplet to triplet transitions, right? So in the case of singlet to singlet transitions, we have the possible transitions from the ground state, that is from 1s0 state. The possible transitions are any 1p1 states, right? So any p states, that means they are 1p1 states, and that transition is indicated by 1s0 to 1p1 transition. And from 1p1, right? So from 1p1, that means from these levels there are possible transitions. There are 2 possible transitions. That means either the transition is from 1p1 level to 1s0 level, that means all these levels are 1s0, or 1p1 to 1d2 transition, that means all these levels are 1d2 levels, right? So each transition in this case is a singlet, because each level is singlet, and therefore all the transitions, they are singlets, right? In the case of helium atom, when the weak magnetic field is applied, we can see the normal Zeeman effect, right? In the absence of external magnetic field, each spectral line is singlet in the helium atom, and for singlet to singlet transitions, we get a single spectrum. When the weak magnetic field is applied, the 1p1 level, that means the singlet p1 level, will split into 3 energy levels of different Jz values. Here, if we consider the transition 1s to 2p, that means 1s0 to 1p1 transition. In that case, for 1s0, L is equal to 0, so Lz is equal to 0, and therefore we get single energy level. For 1p1, L is equal to 1, and therefore Lz values are -1, 0 and +1, and therefore we get 3 different energy levels. So in the absence of external magnetic field, so this transition is very simple, that means 1s to 2p transition is very simple, and we get a single spectral line. But when external magnetic field is applied, these spectral lines, they split into several different levels. So this 1s0 will not split, so we get only single line, but 1p1 level will split into 3 different energy levels corresponding to different Lz values, right? And when the transition between this singlet ground state to singlet excited state occurs, we get 3 different spectral lines, right? So these three spectral lines can be seen in the presence of weak magnetic field. So this is called as normal Zeeman effect in helium atom. Let us now move to the anomalous Zeeman effect. For states with non-zero spin angular momentum, that is S is not equal to 0, we get the anomalous Zeeman effect. The orbital angular momentum L vector will couple with the spin angular momentum S vector and give rise the total angular momentum J vector. The angular momentum J vector can have either integral or half integral components Jz along a reference direction, depending upon whether the quantum number J is integral or half integral. The J vector can have twice J plus 1 components, which are given by Jz is equal to J minus 1 up to minus J. So middle values are 1/2 or 0. So further, since mu is proportional to J vector, mu will also have components in the J direction, which are given by mu Z is equal to minus Ge upon twice m h upon 2 pi Jz vector, right? Therefore, these components of Z components of J for a particular state with J is equal to 3/2 are shown here, right? So we get 4 components of J corresponding to Jz values plus 3/2 plus half minus 3/2, and these 4 components are represented by this diagram. So the magnetic moment also has 4 components, and these 4 components corresponding to 4 different values of Jz are indicated here, right? So these are the components of magnetic dipole moment mu. If now an external field is applied to the atom, thus specifying the previously arbitrary Z direction, the atomic dipole moment mu will interact with the applied field to an external. If now an external field is applied to the atom, thus specifying the previously arbitrary Z direction, the dipole moment mu will interact with the applied field to an extent depending on its components in the field direction. If the strength of the applied field is Pz, then the extent of the interaction is equal to delta E is equal to mu Z into Bz, right? So it is mu Z vector dot Bz vector, but since mu Z and Bz are in the same direction, theta is equal to 0, and therefore cos 0 is 1, and therefore we get mu Z into Bz, which is equal to minus Heg upon 4 pi m Bz into Jz, where Jz is the quantum number of the Z component of the total angular momentum J vector, right? So this Jz has different values, right? And the application of external field splits the degenerate energy levels into twice J plus 1 different energy levels corresponding to different Jz values, right? So this Jz quantum number has twice J plus 1 different values, right? So this splitting or lifting of the degeneracy on the application of an external magnetic field for atoms with non-zero spin angular momentum is called as anomalous Zeeman effect. So here in this example corresponding to J is equal to 3/2, that means this Jz has twice J plus 1, that means 2 into 3/2 plus 1, that means 4 values. So Jz has 4 values. So these 4 values gives rise to 4 different energy levels, and the splitting between these energy levels, that separation between these energy levels is given by this delta E. The energy splitting is very small, and thus for G is equal to 1 and for an applied field of Bz of 1 Tesla, the interaction energy is only sum of the order of 10 raised to minus 23 joules, which is in turn of the order of 0.5 per centimeter, right? So this small splitting is reflected in a splitting of the spectral transitions observed when a magnetic field is applied to an atom. So there are certain selection rules. So the selection rule for Jz is delta Jz must change by 0 or plus or minus 1 only. So in the case of sodium atom, we have seen the doublet kind of structure or sodium D lines. So in the fine structure of sodium atom, we have seen that the spectral line, the transition from 3s to 3p is not a singlet, but it actually consists of 2 spectral lines, right? So it is actually a doublet, right? So we have the selection rule for J, that is delta J is equal to 0 or plus or minus 1. So we have two different J values for this P level, so 3 by 2 and 1 half, and therefore because of that this P level was split into 2, right, and therefore we get two spectral lines for two transitions, and therefore the sodium doublet can be seen in the sodium spectrum, right. So this is the sodium doublet, right, in the absence of external magnetic field. So in sodium D lines, the transitions are in between doublet S half states and the doublet P half and doublet P 3 by 2 states. So these transitions are doublet S half to doublet P half and doublet S half to doublet P 3 by 2. So in the presence of external magnetic field, this doublet S half and doublet P half states, they splits into two levels, and the doublet P 3 by 2 level, that splits into 4 levels. That means the energy levels, they will split into several different energy levels corresponding to different JZ values, right. The extent of splitting is proportional to G factor for each state. So for doublet S half, we have S is equal to half, L is equal to 0 and J is equal to half, and therefore G is equal to 2. For doublet P half, S is equal to 1 half, L is equal to 1, J is equal to 1 half, and therefore G is equal to 2 by 3. For 2P 3 by 2, S is equal to half, L is equal to 1 and J is equal to 3 by 2, and therefore G is equal to 4 by 3. And therefore this splitting is in terms of the ratio. So if we take the ratio 2S half to 2P half to 2P 3 by 2, that ratio is 3:1:2. That means the separation between the energy levels is of this order. That means if the splitting between the 2P half levels is 1, then the splitting between 2S half levels is thrice that of this level, and the splitting between 2P 3 by 2 levels is twice than that of these levels, right. So let us see the sodium atom spectrum in the presence of weak magnetic field. So originally the 3S to 3P transition in the absence of external magnetic field was like this, right. So this 2S half level has only single level, the 2P half has one level and 2P 3 by 2 has one level, right, corresponding to J values 3 by 2 and 1 half. And the spectral transitions from this doublet S half to doublet P half, that will give one spectral line, and doublet S half to doublet P 3 by 2, that will give another spectral line. That means we get a doublet kind of structure in the sodium atom in the absence of external magnetic field. But when external magnetic field is applied, each level corresponding to the J value, they will split into several different lines, right. For J is equal to 1 half, we have JZ values as plus half and minus half, and therefore we get two energy levels for this 2S or doublet S half level. For doublet P half also, since J is equal to 1 half, JZ is equal to 1 half or minus half, and therefore we get two energy levels. In the case of doublet P 3 by 2, since J is equal to 3 by 2, we get 4 JZ values, and these 4 JZ values are 3 by 2 plus half, minus half and minus 3 by 2, and therefore we get 4 different energy levels corresponding to J is equal to 3 by 2. And the transitions between these energy levels, when takes place, we get anomalous G1 effect. We can see the splitting between these two energy levels, right. Since the ratio of G for this case, so this splitting is thrice that of this splitting, and this splitting is twice that of this splitting, right. So the separation between energy levels, that will also depend on the G values. So when the magnetic field is applied, the 2S half to 2P half line disappears and it replaced by 4 new lines. So these 4 lines are here, while the 2S half to 2P 3 by 2 transition is replaced by 6 new lines. That means overall we get 10 different lines, and this effect is called as anomalous G1 effect, right. So in the presence of weak magnetic field, the sodium doublet spectrum, it was originally 2 spectral lines. In the presence of external magnetic field, we can see 10 different spectral lines, and it is called as anomalous Zeeman effect. In general, Zeeman effect can give very useful information about the electronic states of atoms. In the first place, the number of lines into which each transition becomes split when a field is applied depends on the J values of the states between which the transitions arise. Next, the G values deduced from the splitting of a known applied field gives information about the L and S values of the electron undergoing transitions. Overall, then the term symbols for various atomic states can be deduced from L, S and J values from the Zeeman experiment, right? So we get the term symbols. In this way, all the details of the atomic states, term symbols, etc. can be confirmed experimentally from the Zeeman effect. So in summary, we have studied the normal Zeeman effect which arises due to singlet to singlet transitions, and we have also studied the anomalous Zeeman effect which occurs to doublet transitions in sodium atom. The normal Zeeman effect occurs in atoms having 0 spin angular momentum, that is S is equal to 0, and whereas anomalous Zeeman effect occurs in atoms with non-zero spin angular momentum, that is S is non-zero, right? So in the next lecture, we will study the Paschen-Back effect. Thank you.